Radio Raheem in Riyadh with Eddie Hearn. Once again, I mean, I don't know if you're going to get a body double or somebody is going to have to be Eddie Hearn in multiple countries now.
Well,
so many things going on.
I think Versace Boxing, Rick Reno, deliberately sabotaged my car tonight. It took me an hour and 20 minutes to get from the hotel here. He went round 5 times, and I had to get out in the middle of the road, and I ran for 15 minutes to run on stage, and I think it was Versace Boxing.
He's taking a page out of Matchroom's book.
I think you've got to watch this guy. You know, you only have to look at him to know there's something going on here. You know? So we'll be looking into that.
I like how the two of you have a little back and forth at every presser. But the Ring Magazine events have been tremendous. Obviously, I've got to get a little word from you on the Conor Benn victory over Chris Eubank. I mean, that has to have been a little bit of a personal victory for you as well.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. You know, I always kind of like, a lot of people were asking me last week, how much do you want Chris Eubank to lose? And I think maybe a decade or so ago, I probably did have that attitude a little bit towards people. I think now it's more, how much do I want someone to win? Do you know what I mean? I just wanted Conor to win. And I never really want anyone to lose. But the fact that Conor beat Eubank after everything was kind of sweet. Let's be honest. It was a great rivalry. Respect to both men. We got 24 great rounds. You know, we got 125,000 fans over the 2 fights. We got a kind of reignition for British boxing as well. And we saw the emergence of a new star of British boxing in Conor Benn. You know, a young man that has a great future. You
had predicted that Eubank was done, that this would be his last fight. Based on the performance we saw, it could be his last fight. Do you stand on that? Do you think we've seen the last of Eubank?
I do. I think, you know, I truly believe that first fight, Conor Benn said something at the press conference. He said, I took your soul that night. And when you give what Eubank gave in that first fight, it takes a huge amount out of you, especially at 36. And, you know, for me, that it was almost like he won the battle in that first fight, but he didn't win the war. And that was over the 2 fights, just a younger, fresher guy. See, that fight took nothing out of Conor Benn, that first fight. In fact, it gave him the experience and the confidence that he needed. And this time around, listen, I don't like the way people go, oh, Eubank didn't look himself. Well, Conor boxed really well. He boxed to a game plan. He boxed discipline. Eubank made the weight better this time around, I believe, than last time. He looked much better on the scales. But he just faced a younger man that outboxed him and beat him up. And yeah, I do believe that will be Eubank's last fight.
We never saw an apology or a recant from Eubank about this ambulance thing. We know the stick went right up into the fight. But if this is, in fact, the end for Eubank Jr., and all the back and forth you've had over the career, you've represented him at times, what's your farewell thought on his career and Eubank as a man and a fighter?
I think Eubank has done extremely well with the ability that he had. And I'll be honest with you, his father was exactly the same. Right? I mean, they got to where, that might be a bit disrespectful, they earned the money they made because they're characters and because they are unique, right? My dad represented Chris Eubank Sr. for a long time. My dad will even say they never wanted to fight anybody. I mean, I'm a little bit different to my dad. My dad was always 1,000,000% safety first. Eubank Sr. had really no interest in chasing the greatness of the sport. He just wanted to make money and be the showman, right? And he won a world title. So, you know, but he never wanted anything of Michael Nunn, James Toney, Roy Jones. I mean, you know, these are tremendous fighters. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, even the Nigel Benn trilogy, he never really wanted. And my dad allowed them. They did the Eubank World Tour, which basically existed of like Scotland, England, Wales, I think South Africa and Portugal or something like that. And that, if you look at like who they fought, but it was a show, right? And Eubank Jr. never won a world title. You know, had a good fight with George Groves, beat a finished James DeGale, but he never really got going at world level either. But what Eubank Jr. did do is he made a lot of money. And it was right place, right time a lot of those times. He walked into the World Boxing Super Series, made a fortune. He made an absolute fortune for the 2 Conor Benn fights, right? So he's going to live a great life. So if that's the end of him, well done. You can leave the sport healthily. You know, he's mentally intact, and he's made a lot of money. He's got twins on the way. Go and enjoy your life.
While you're describing Eubank Sr., I'm hearing a same description that could be made for a showman who's making a lot of money, who's not faced the top in a division or really chased a world title, and Jake Paul, of all people.
Yeah.
And now he's on the cusp of fighting your prize fighter, the flagship for your era of Matchroom, a fight that nobody really expected would happen, including myself. And talk about a little bit of extra desire for a guy to get beat. How personal is it for you to see Jake Paul potentially knock Spark out?
It's we've kind of, we haven't squashed our beef. Well, we have legally, but I have to take my hat off to him. I don't look at this one. I look at this one differently to the Eubank one. The Eubank one I felt was like a 50-50 matchup. I believed he would win the second fight. It was sweet. This is a gimme. I don't know what else to say. This is a gimme. This is Father Christmas came down the chimney and said to Anthony Joshua, with all his sacks full of cash, he went, "Have I got a great Christmas for you?" And Anthony said, "What have we got?" And he said, "You're going to fight Jake Paul for a near career high payday."
Well, the payday's already a win. Obviously, Josh was going in a ginormous favorite. But I'm talking about your fighter being the guy to stop the momentum of Jake Paul and potentially knock him Spark out.
No, because I always want to be in a fight like that where it's touch and go. Do you know what I mean? Or will we? Won't we? This is just a given. This is just when. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is how many rounds can he survive? Right? I mean, and the answer is, in my opinion, not one complete round.
If he does survive more than one round, is that a knock on Joshua?
I mean, what could happen? He could hold. He could run. I mean, he could listen. The guy knows his way around the ring, and I think now we have to. And I said previously, this isn't a YouTuber. This is a professional boxer. Now, your opinion of him as a professional boxer can be whatever you want it to be. Mine is he's not world class. He's decent. He's a top 60 cruiserweight in the world or something like that, and he's improved a lot. It's a mismatch against Joshua. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh yeah, like Jake Paul has taken the bait. He's listened to the delusion of some people. Maybe that's infiltrated him a little bit. He's listened to the "you've never fought a real fighter," and he's always calculated in what he does. And I think he's just thinking, I think I could do all right in there. And if I do, I'm going to get so many props. I can come back and fight whoever I want. But this ain't a game. And when Nikisa is saying, yeah, but this is a more dangerous fight than Gervonta, but it's an easier fight because, he hasn't aged. Gervonta's got the speed. I'm thinking, oh my God, you have no idea what is about to rain down on you on December 19th in Miami.
Last we spoke, I predicted that Wardley would be elevated to world champion. I said that Joshua and Wardley were possibly on a collision course. You were like, that's impossible.
They're not on a collision course. But
if Joshua is chasing another world championship and Usyk hasn't made a decision, now we've got a world champion. Is that not a very potential fight?
We have our plans with Turkel Sheikh, which is to fight in February and then to fight Tyson Fury. That's what we're being told is going to be delivered for us. Now, that's not done yet. But that is what our plan is. Our plan is to fight Jake Paul, to have this fight in Riyadh in February.
There's no chance that fight is Wardley. He's not even on the table for February.
If Turkel Sheikh turns around and says, it's Fabio Wardley, we don't have a problem with that fight for the world title. But we do want to fight Tyson Fury as well. That's what His Excellency wants. So my guess is that His Excellency is going to be thinking, we don't want a 50-50 fight. And if he thinks it's a 50-50 fight, I don't. But Fabio's live, he's game, he's dangerous. to scupper His Excellency's plans for Fury against AJ. Do you know what I mean?
The irony is, the last time I was here with Joshua, we had a bit of a viral moment. He was upset because he felt he was misrepresented in his answer as to whether or not a big money fight, and at that time I think it was Wilder or Fury, was more important to him than winning another world title.
Well, world title.
So if it's 50-50 with Wardley, but you have an opportunity to win a world title, or that could disrupt.
That's not an age like the decision now for the plan, which we've agreed to with Turki Al-Sheikh, is for his plan for February and Tyson Fury. Now he's still got to deliver that. If you said to AJ right now, what means more to you, winning a world title or fighting Tyson Fury? I think it'd be very close, by the way. But I still think he would gear towards the World Heavyweight Championship always. So if that fight presented itself, I don't rule it out at all. But I do know His Excellency has his own plans, which we are following. You know, all of this stuff with the Jake Paul stuff, it was hard work, to be honest with you. Like we had to appease the zone. I wanted to appease His Excellency because, you know, we've fought under his shows for a couple of years now with AJ. So we're all working together and we're planning together. So if His Excellency turns around and says it's Fabio Wardley in February, we take the fight. No problem. But I don't believe he will. I think he'll say, this is your fight, and then the title. Now, if Tyson Fury doesn't agree to fight, throw us all over the Fabio Wardley fight for the world title. Do you know what I mean? And listen, credit to Fabio. And I know, I know he'll get stick for being an email world champion. It's not his fault that Usyk vacated. He was ready to fight Usyk. So, you know, he's going to be in some big fights.
Not only is it not his fault, he may have had maybe the best few weeks of a heavyweight in recent history, contrasting maybe the worst few weeks from Joseph Parker, having taken a fight that really was voluntary, didn't have to take an opponent like this, and then, of course, losing the opportunity to be elevated. But on the back of that, this adverse finding for cocaine. Now, you've represented a fighter who's been cleared, where nobody believed him and nobody believed the story, but on the end, he was cleared.
But when you say nobody believed him...
No, I mean you, and even you said you had to push him up against the wall and really ask him about whether or not his story was true.
That's very harsh. I mean, to say nobody believed him. I mean,
very few people, especially when the findings first came out, thought every fighter says they didn't do it.
People who knew Conor Benn believed him. And then over time, when he won 3 cases, people started to believe him a lot more. Some people will never believe him, and that's fine. That's just life. With this incident, firstly, it's not my fighter, and it's not my show. So I don't have to really comment. I like Joseph Parker a lot. Every fighter should be given the opportunity to explain themselves. I mean, we've seen his statement, and now it'll be his chance to go through due process. With that substance, you have to follow the WADA rules, which is out of competition, that is not a banned substance, and there is no penalty, right? Which might be strange, but that's fact. In competition in boxing with WADA, or UCAD particularly, which is the jurisdiction, is only on the night, right? And that's where the problem lies. Do you know what I mean? If that test would have been 3 days before, he actually wouldn't have faced a ban. Quite strangely, but because it was in competition, he now has to answer to UCAD, which is a problem.
The reason I put it that way is because I'm seeing a lot of people come out in this instance and say, Joseph Parker, we can't believe it. I see more people saying right out the gate that they believe that this has got to be some mistake, that his story is legit.
I'd like to think so. I mean, it is a strange substance, if you like. I don't know, too much about it, but and I also know Joseph's a good man. Now, I also do believe in contamination. I really do. Like, especially in certain environments. I mean, that's why people may have seen my clip with Conor Benn with the Five Guys last week, where all of a sudden Chisora comes in with a bag of Five Guys, and he's going, here, Conor, and Conor's opening the burger, and the drug testers are sitting over there, and I'm like, absolutely no way. And he's like, well, no, Chisora's obviously not. Oh, no, I'm worried about Chisora. I'm worried about anybody else. Fuck that.
Right.
You only take someone vindictive or someone with a plan to put something in those burgers, you eat it, an hour later you do your drug test, you're fucked for life. Do you know what I mean? This is the game. This is a dirty game. So you don't know you don't know anything. And I believe 8 or 9 times out of 10, when someone fails a drugs test, they're guilty. But I do believe in contamination. I do believe in a fighter's right to go through the due process, and that's what Joseph Parker will have to do.
And now I've got to let you go, but I can't do that without at least speaking about Bam Rodriguez. I agree with you. Maybe the fighter that most people anticipate on any given night, a lighter weight, but bringing the action. Where do you think he's on the pound-for-pound list right now and the potential?
5. I mean, it's this Usyk and Crawford debate. I have to go with Usyk because of his wins, but it's very close. So I go Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, Bivol, Bam. So that's, I don't think many can argue with that. I mean, you will see on Saturday night, like if you ask all the fighters on this card, who's your favourite fighter on the card? Everyone goes Bam. Like if you ask everybody in the media, the true boxing fans, they go Bam. You will see on Saturday night a performance. He is going to light this kid up like a firework. You know what I mean? And he will prove, he's 25 years old. Like, this kid's really, really special.
Give me a prediction on Haney and Norman.
It's a great card, isn't it? I mean, I think Yard's got his work cut out. I love Noakes against Abdullah Mason. I think it's a great fight. I mean, both guys have never really fought anyone of world level at lightweight, yet they're fighting for the world title. Mm-hmm. Sam's a big, strong kid, massive puncher. Abdullah Mason's very skillful. Haney Norman's fascinating,
How are you picking?
I have to pick Devin Haney. I just think, again, when you look at the wins, you always have to look at the wins of a fighter's career. Look at Brian Norman's wins. Who has he beat? No one. Is he a good fighter? For sure. Could he punch? For sure. But, I know it was close against Lomachenko, but Devin had a win over Lomachenko, went to Australia, beat Kambosos, beat Regis Prograis, fought Ryan Garcia, beat Linares, beat Jojo. He's got a good resume. And I think he'll outbox him. But it's a great fight.
Pleasure to talk to you, Eddie. Looking forward to the rest of the year. So much left in boxing to do. We'll see you again soon. Radio Raheem with Eddie Hearn.